Rebel Run from Toyah. She's got a new single coming out this week, and an album, and a tour, and all these things. Number one single at the moment is Karma Chameleon. I think you're the chameleon.
It's still number one?
Yeah, I think you must, but you're the chameleon, aren't you? I mean, you just keep changing all these different jobs and things that you're doing.
I think it's important to keep changing.
Really?
I think once you get set in your ways, especially within the entertainment business, people tend to forget you. And it's not only that. When I wake up in the morning and I look in the mirror, I think, oh, I've had enough of that one. And I change it. I like to wake up and shock myself.
What was this steamy scene with Sir Laurence Olivier?
There's no steamy scenes. I mean, John Fowles' Ebony Tower, the book, is very steamy. In fact, when I read the book, I really didn't want to be involved with the film. But the script is very different. And it's all about mind games between 4 different people. And there's nothing much to see as far as the Sun's concerned, or any of those tabloids. It's actually going to be a very beautiful, very artistic film.
But there were stories going around that you were doing a nude scene with Sir Laurence Olivier.
There's hundreds of stories going around. You know, let the stories happen. I'm afraid people will be very disappointed if that's all they're going to watch the film for. I like to think they're going to see some really good acting, because it was an excellent cast.
Yes. Now, you're 25 now. You've achieved so much in the past 10 years.
25.
How did you... Why are you laughing at that?
I feel 16.
But you started out in Birmingham those years ago. So did you set out to be a punk?
Gosh,
what was childhood?
No. When I was a teenager, I was madly in love with anything to do with science fiction. And suddenly this picture evolved called the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And I saw pictures of Little Nell and Tim Curry. And I really thought it was the most beautiful thing I ever saw. And that started to encourage me to dye my hair, much to my mother's dismay. And I turned up at home one day with my head shaved at the back, and it was long in front. And it was, one side was pink and the other side was blue. And I'd say this was about 2 years before punk happened, because I remember 2 years later, and many colours later, I was still at school, going to see the Sex Pistols play at a club called Bogart's in Birmingham. And I suddenly walked into this club, and I was among hundreds of people that had the same emotions as me, and looked similar to me, even though we were all very individualistic. And I suddenly felt at home, and this was the big movement called punk.
From little punks, great actresses do grow, eh?
Sometimes.
Something like that. Well, look, I don't know whether we'll get another chance to talk to you before 9 o'clock, because time is tramping on. Thank you for coming in this morning and for being a part of the show. You've been sitting here bouncing up and down like a jack-in-the-box.
I'm going cycling when I get back.
You just can't keep still, can you, for long?
I find it very difficult.
Right, you keep bouncing away.
Twitch.
Well,